Hi everyone, my name is Shaman Dao and I'm your no-nonsense shaman. I bridge the gap between purgatory and psychology, and I am here for our first part of our 10-part series, The Intuitive Survivor. And today we're going to journey between our dual journeys on this plane. What is CPTSD? CPTSD stands for complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Many of us who grew up in homes where there was any type of abuse, emotional, mental, spiritual, sexual, narcissistic abuse, there's a layering compound that happens when these experiences one event, not including the many compounding events that happen into our childhood. Many of us experience childhood trauma. That's just, the boomers had it difficult. They bore us out. The millennials decided that they didn't want to have their children experience the same hardship they did, so they went the opposite way to give their children and the grandchildren of the boomers an incredible, very soft life. It's just two different dynamics. And so now the children of the grandchildren of boomers are having a difficult life just trying to understand what hardship is. I can speak on my experience in regards to growing up as a child of immigrants who first arrived in America in 1975 from escaping a war. So there was war trauma, there's generational traumas, there's sexual traumas, there's narcissistic traumas, there's emotional trauma, there's emotional malnourishment. There was just so much happening. And my parents came to this country with fear, just absolute fear of the white man, fear of going back to their country, just fear. It's ingrained in the cells. So you can only imagine what's transferred into the baby body when in womb. I was born with extrasensory abilities. I was born holding the birth control of my mother in my hand like this. I came out holding the birth control. The doctor said, wow, usually it gets wrapped around the arm or in a leg, and then they would get some type of deformity. But even before that, my mom was about to abort me. My mom was on the table and she was going to abort me, she was in survival mode her entire life. She's sitting there and she's like, how am I supposed to have another child? She already had like 2 under 4 years old. They were there at the doctor's office to abort me, and the doctor's sitting in between her legs, ready to suck me out. A nurse knocks on the door, says that the doctor has a call, and the doctor's like, no, give me 10 minutes. The nurse says, it's an emergency. My mom didn't speak English at that time, but she was like, that's a sign from God. We have to keep her. We have to keep her. So when I was born, I came out with the birth control as well. And my entire existence has been incidents like this in regards to almost dying all the time. In fact, in these examples that I'm giving to you, I did die. A part of me did die in those moments. And we'll talk about soul fragmentation later. In today's video, I want to make these like 10 minutes or less about just navigating your dual journey of being in this physical form, experiencing life as we know it, but also having extrasensory abilities. It's the yin and yang. One side is the physical form. The other side is a spiritual form. Many of us, once again, have experienced a lot of trauma. It is very difficult to know, to have faith, and to trust in everything that's happening within us when this side is like yearning and calling to us. I love to work from the inside out. I love to take the hardest step first so my life is easier later. That's just who I am. Not many people take this route or want to take this route because satisfaction now feels better than later. All of this to say, a lot of us feel that these types of extrasensory abilities gifts are not gifts. They are hindrances. They are something that we don't want. And that's part of the shadow work as well, because in that shadow of it's not a gift, it is actually a gift. But we have to move through so much healing on the physical side to get to the point that, yes, it's a beautiful gift. It's a beautiful gift. Do you know how many people I know who have powerful gifts? And they're afraid to not only show themselves or step into their power, they're just hindered from making that leap forward, even into a business. There are people making millions of dollars doing healing work, coaching work, whatever it is. They don't have an inkling of the power of the people that I've met in my travels. And so if this resonates with you, I'm talking directly to you because I was once there. I was definitely once there. I didn't want to shine my light. I was afraid. I was afraid to step into my power. I was afraid that if I was to say something and tell you exactly what I can do, I'm going to be, found somewhere over there saying that like I drowned. Granted, I don't swim well, but just stuff like that. I want to read this to you. Our challenges are real. They include heightened emotional responses, difficulty in distinguishing between intuition and trauma-triggered reactions, and navigating a world that often misunderstands both our abilities and our struggles with trauma. If you are struggling and you've said, I'm going to close the door on your intuitive nature, I'll probably bet money that that door is like being forced open. You are putting so much power into keeping that door closed. Because that's not integration. That's resistance. The more that you resist, the more that you will struggle in your life. It's who you are. It's literally who you are. And you were born with all this goodness. It doesn't seem like goodness sometimes. Trust me, I know. But it is. When you open that door, it is something to be grateful and to be honored. But if you open that door while you're struggling with an imbalanced emotional and nervous system, it can actually knock you off balance more. You become an open channel. I don't want you to become an open channel for anyone and everything to come through. And we're going to talk about boundaries in this part, not this part, but this series, because usually empaths and those of us born the way that we are born, we grow up in such traumatic foundations. We don't have or know what boundaries are, just the regular boundaries, let alone spiritual boundaries. And the spiritual boundaries, you're going to fuck yourself up because it's in the intangible world. At least in this world, you can see, you could feel more, right? Who's overstepping. But when we talk about the spirit world, there's nothing to see. You can maybe feel, but if you are basically undiagnosed PTSD, you have a problem trusting yourself, trusting what you feel, think, or believe. So you can only imagine moving through the unknown and the unseen and trying to trust it. I met many women who had really strong capabilities, and especially in that intuitive nature, with powers. I mean, shape-shifting powers. But did they trust themselves from all the trauma that they experienced? No. So I questioned when they would answer me certain things. They were so adamant about the answer, it was ego. How do we navigate this dual journey? Number one starts with awareness and understanding. And there's a big one, acceptance. When you begin, I already know you're aware, right? Let's get real. You're already aware, but you need to understand. And you don't need to, right? Like, you don't need to do anything. You can scroll, do whatever you want. But for those of you that the door is being kicked down from your spirit teams, understanding and acceptance of who you are. Can you imagine the sigh of relief that your entire being is saying, yes, this is what we've been waiting for. We're going to end this first part with a powerful, simple exercise to distinguish between our intuition and our trauma responses. I want you to put down your phone or just leave it up somewhere. Take a look at me. And go ahead and take a nice deep breath in through the nose and exhale all the way out. If your eyes are not closed, go ahead and close them. Inhale in. Exhale all the way out. Let's do that one more time. Inhale in. And exhale all the way out, leaving your eyes closed. Good. We ground and feel the space within our body. We move through the movement of life. I want you to continue breathing in and out at your own pace. Now I want you to think of a recent situation where you felt a strong intuitive hit or psychic perception. As you hold this memory, notice the physical sensations in your body. Is there tension or warmth or tingling? These sensations are clues to your intuitive language. We all have a different language. All we have to do is learn it. Next, recall a moment when you reacted strongly due to a trauma trigger. Again, observe your body's reaction and response. You'll likely notice different sensations compared to your intuitive hit. This contrast is the beginning of discerning between your psychic abilities and trauma responses. I want you to practice this exercise regularly to enhance your ability to distinguish between the insights offered by your extrasensory abilities and the echoes of your past traumas. This type of discernment is key to navigating your dual journey with confidence and clarity. At this moment, go ahead and take a nice deep breath in through the nose and exhale all the way out, feeling good and feeling fine. Nothing but good feelings in your body and your mind. Let's do that again. Take a nice deep inhale in through the nose, exhaling all the way out. Good. Opening your eyes, noticing how good you feel. Good. Thank you for joining me today. This is only the beginning of you understanding who you are, accepting all parts of yourself, and more importantly, beginning to love all those parts within. I send you so much love and so many blessings. See you soon.